Hey, it's SadBoi coming at you again. This time we're revisiting something I reacted to a little while ago. It's DPS's motto rap Shadows with featuring Frazer. And I like to occasionally come back to a couple videos that I may have reacted to earlier. And since then my thoughts may have changed on said song after spending some time with it. And this is one of those songs where since I've heard it passively and now I don't have like expectations on the first listen to, my thoughts have changed a little bit. So I just thought I'd let you know how I feel about the song now. The link to the original video will be in the description below. So please like and go run up the original song, because now after some time I can honestly say that this might be one of DPS's best songs. Like, listening to this now, I maybe it's even top 5, because this, like, just the beat, the hook, DPS's verses, which he does go insane on. Even if I wasn't like the biggest fan of it originally, it's kind of crazy. And then video editing by Nikta is always phenomenal. No, video editing by Hideki. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Ugh. But yeah, we'll run it through. So like that's a very relatable hook, I feel. Like that hook is just super relatable. Like we can kind of just like kind of vibe with that hook. It's very like open. Like, and that's something I really like about this song. Cuz like we can all like um sympathize with we didn't think it was going to go that way. And then how DPS comes into the verse actually is super cool too, because he comes with like mad energy in this track. But this is the way that it is. Really, I wanted to change, but didn't think it would be left to the kids. How is it every war is the same? It's always the evil that lives, and you ain't got no one to blame. Except for the man in the mirror. And like, now that some time has passed, right? And I'm coming onto this with like more fresh eyes and like no expectations. Like this sounds really good, like sonically now, after some time and no expectation. It sounds really solid. Like just the man in the mirror line, like I'm a big fan now over to when my initial expectation was. So like coming for the track for what it is, I think it's really strong. Show me a different way. When did you know what I didn't change? Feeling controlled and I dip away. Shut every word and I went away. On different pages, still the same. Feel like I'm walking a mirror maze. Face the reflection of dimmer days. The path of the shadows is the parade. Never been the same since you left. On the Uchi highway. Drop a little blood, I see red. Under the ring of God. So I will rain death on them. And in the end, I will beg. But you. So like that's something that I noticed too, that I actually cared for way more than I thought I would. So like when he when he hits the little high notes, right? So like when you left and then whoop, whoop, and then bled and then red, right? And then how he ends each like bar, right? With the high note. I find that that's actually like really endearing. I think that that is actually something that like maybe it's like a high point of the song that you're kind of like listening to and you're like, ooh, I like that. That actually sounds really good. And then he changes it right there, right? And then he gets like deeper. And then that's kind of hype though. And then just like the flow of this track, right? I really enjoy his flow right there. He does so many cool things with his flow in this track. that I can appreciate so much more now that some time has passed. And it's really good. And then Hideki did so good on the editing for this. So I'm a big fan now.
It always end up the same, and never we game. It's always a battlefield, and on that other brothers the same. But in my world, they're in a battlefield. When it's done, and I know you'll say, never went back.
And then it comes back to the hook, right? And the hook, it might be one of my favorite hooks in the nerdcore scene right now. Top 10. Top 10, I think I can say. I think this hook is probably top 10 in the nerdcore scene right now. I really enjoy this one. I think this hook is insane. Like Frazer, his hook, bananas. Although, would that make like 2 Frazer hooks in my top 10? Because Demon King with Rusted? Don't worry about it. Anywho.
Wish I could do it again. All of time. Ain't it a lose my friend? Never look back. Never thought I would regret. That was the plan. Now I see how it's gonna end. Never went back. Wish I could do it again.
And then I fucking love the ad-libs. Like, just like every little piece of this hook was placed like so perfectly for like what I was really looking for. And like now it's just kind of, it's one of those earworms, right? Like it gets in your head and you're like, ooh, you know what hook I want to listen to? It's come to the point, right, that I'll be like, you know what I'm in the mood for? Like I'll just be chilling out, right? And I'll be like, man, I want to listen to some music. And then I'll be all like, you know, Frazier's hook on that was like insane. That is something that I want to listen to. And so I'll listen to it for the hook, right? And then we'll get to DPS's parts. And like every time I come back to the song, right, I'm a little surprised by like how much more I like his verses every time I listen, right? Because he does like so many things in his verse that maybe I'll catch something new on a different listen that I didn't catch before. And I think that's really cool that he puts so much in to the song, and then maybe like on the first listen you didn't catch it, but on the second listen you might catch a little bit more. So I think that's really cool. I still think this like the second half of the verse is this is hot. This is hot. Like the wordplay, how he keeps doubling up. This is hot. I stand by this. This is the thing I'll stand by. This is fucking hot right here.
All you motherfuckers on your mother's side don't want nothing but a lunch and supper while your brothers run for cover. Got them ducking under other brothers. You won't give them nothing, but you want a buffer, then you run when they get ugly. Others suffer, but when you get bloody bloodshed, now it's something no one knows when it's.
And then this is the hottest part of the track. And then it gets to this part where, like, the control, right? The control is something I appreciate so much. Because, like, he just went, like, he popped off, right? And then we get to this part, and you're like, holy shit, right? This part, actually really good. So this is probably my favorite part of the track, where he goes into this part with his control and how tight it is, right?
But you all act so ignorant. But it don't make no difference. None of my world you're living in.
And like, I don't think that's something a lot of artists do, which is what I really like about that part, right? Because like, he stops for like a perfect beat and then continues on, right? So it's like, the delivery, pause, delivery, pause, delivery. And that is something I appreciate in this song so much that I don't really find a lot of artists doing or can do well. Because some people will even like try it out, right? And then it won't be as good as what DPS is doing right here, which I
call
find.
us ambitious, scammers make carbon imprisonment. Freedom's a privilege. Look what you did with this. Sending your children to die for its citizens. Crooked composers, they're laming our instruments. Crooked composers, they playing. You fiddling, playing like I can keep playing. We're sending them. Pray on the world, but then pray on the innocent. Praying on me, but you pray on you. Living this. I just want it to flip it. All they talking, nobody listen. All they talking, bring all your numbers back to keep count when I remove digits. No, I didn't choose this, bro, but you refused to, bro. That's why I do this, bro. That's why I do this, bro. Cause all you do is, and we've been through this, bro. And I won't do this, no, I won't.
And then I really like that transition into the hook. I think that part is super good listening to it now. Like the transition into the hook is super smooth. And that's something I can definitely appreciate more now. So I think given time, I think this track gets better. So while I may not have been big fan of it then, after a couple like passive listenings in the background and like the hook just being so good, right? Cuz like hooks followed by a strong verse will always like get me feeling something, right? And now that I can accept the track for what it is, right? It's not like the super hype like mosh pit Madara song, right? It's different, but it's strong, and I can appreciate what DPS did now. And I'm glad he did so, coming back to it. So I think this was actually a super smart move, and it's a super strong song. So I I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this.
Wish I could do it again. All I'm tired. Hated a lose my friend. Never look back. Never thought I would regret. That was the plan. Now I see how it's gonna end. If I went back. Wish I could do it again. All I'm tired. Hated a lose my friend. Never look back. Make it perfect for it how you want. I'll make it perfect.
And then this part of Frazier's hook, right? I love how he added the little extra bit to it. I think this part really strong, and it ends up wrapping the song up really nice. So I can honestly say I'm a really big fan of how it ended. I'm a fan of like the second verse leading into the transition to the hook, and then how he changes the hook ever so slightly. Because that's something I really appreciate from artists as well. It's something that I know Fable does really well. I think Fable is probably the king of doing that with like the ending hook. I don't think anybody does it as well as Fable does when changing the ending hook ever so slightly. But Frazier changes it up just enough to where it's such like a rush, right? When you get to the end of the song and you're just like, that's that's awesome right there. That like he just enhances it just that little bit on the end part and you're like, that was good. That was phenomenal. So overall now, final thoughts. This song actually is on my daily rotation playlist. I'm a big fan of hearing it in the car when I'm driving to work. It's something that I can honestly say was really strong now, and yeah, I just think it's a strong song. I'd say this is like if we take into account all of the songs from last year, I'd say this probably easily makes top 5 of like DPS songs. Like there's I think there's only like one song, one or two that I'd put like no hesitation on, and that's his Ganyu rap from Squid Game, because just amazing track. I love the yeah yeahs. Like just the synth in there is phenomenal. And then his Arcane rap for Victor. But like I think those are his top 3 songs right now. But thank you so much for watching. The original video will be linked in the description below. Until next time. Hey, yeah.